Here we go again. Instant reaction, big play presented by FanDuel. Matt Fontana, Ryan Tyler with you. Ryan, we picked a not great game to break this all down, or maybe the perfect game because the Browns lose in Pittsburgh yet again. Streak continues. The losing streak on the road, away from Cleveland, international. It's just all bad right now. And this game, I really am starting to be concerned about the Kevin Stefanski led offense here. And like, if you watch our show on a given week, presented by FanDuel, instant reaction here on Big Play, presented by FanDuel. You can hit us up on the Twitter side of things. We'll get some comments, Ryan. I want to read some comments for some people. And
hell yeah.
Like, I just, dude, you know me. I'm a Kevin Stefanski defender. I'm done. I got nothing left.
Wow.
I don't know what else. Like, watching this offense, I get that the offensive line is absolutely god-awful. Jack Conklin gets hurt again. Dylan Gabriel can't push the ball down the field. The receivers are dropping passes. Like, it's just all bad. You could not run the ball to save yourself again today. You had nothing going. And unfortunately, I just think this continues to fall back on Kevin Stefanski. And I'm not sitting here saying that he should be fired or is going to be fired. Like, I still believe he's going to get the rest of the season. But, like, my effort level of defending him, I'm exhausted. I'm completely exhausted. And I don't know how much more I have left to do this. Gabriel, the height thing continues to show up. I don't know how we watch Dylan Gabriel play after the Browns in the offseason. When they drafted him, they said, well, the height doesn't show up on tape. Ryan, I don't know what tape they were looking, because I'm watching games sitting on my couch going, the height is showing up. There's a massive issue with how short Dylan Gabriel is. I'm sorry.
You know, we asked the Browns time and time again to go ahead and score 20 points for us. It's been a long time. They go ahead and not only not do that again, but they don't score 10 points. And the offense, it's painful to watch, Matt. And they have nothing going for them. They have no identity. This was the worst rushing game you've had since Quinshon Judkins was here. And then vice versa for the Steelers, Jaylen Warren actually got something going for the running game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Outside of Jahmyr Gibbs, and that was more so in the passing game, Browns have obviously locked down the run game. But Jaylen Warren, I mean, great player. He's had a phenomenal season. Shoved it down the Browns' throats. And again, it's hard to pin anything on this Cleveland Browns defense. We'll talk about Tyson Campbell and that good first half, not such a good second half. But it's impossible to point to the defense and really get mad at them because they're on the field constantly. It's upsetting, Matt. And the Kevin Stefanski, me and you both have been a little bit more lenient, I'd say, than a lot of people. A lot of people. And this week, another example, 9 points. I don't care who's at quarterback, Matt. You're not going to win a game scoring 9 points in the NFL, and something has to give. Preseason, I was saying I didn't want Aaron Rodgers, but boy, did he look decent even at the ripe age of 40. The play-action rollout bootlegs absolutely killed the Browns today. It was a tough watch, Matt. Right now, the Cleveland Browns, without a doubt, the toughest watch in all of football.
It is, and it's hard because there's nothing that you could even grab onto after this game. Like in other games, like, okay, Judkins is running the football well. You know, after the game, I always do good, bad, the ugly. And I send it out. This is the first time in a long time, Ryan, under the good, I go, I got nothing. You know, I could put Carson Schlesinger in there. He had a nice game, but like there was literally nothing that came to mind that the Browns did well today. In the first half, you're right. I had Tyson Campbell. Had to erase that. In the first half, the defense was getting off the field. They got gassed. They got tired. They got gassed late. And I actually had Dylan Gabriel in there because I saw some throws in that first half that I'm like, okay, accuracy, is kind of there. I see the timing. And then that just all imploded in the second half. And he's just, and what's the phrase of the week going to be? Hospital balls. And everybody's already to it. Like, he's getting guys killed out there. He's getting guys absolutely killed out there. Now, some of that is, yes, you are in the NFL. There's tight window throws that need to be made. And then there's just some that you go, I can't do that. I just can't do that. My guy's going to get hurt here. And there's some of these out throws that just aren't there. I want to make this clear as well. You need to keep starting Dylan Gabriel. I get that people are saying, well, go to Shador. We've already seen enough. You have not. You have not. You need to keep starting Dylan Gabriel. Now, do you need to start him 10 more games? I doubt that. But you need to keep him out there to see if there's any sort of progression that can continue on forward here. It's the Big Play postgame show here. Matt Fontana, Ryan Tyler, our instant reaction. It's all presented by our great friends at FanDuel. You can get signed up today. Go to FanDuel.com/bigplay. That is FanDuel.com/bigplay. You pick a bet, you bet $5, which was just free money today if you took the Steelers minus the points. What are we doing here? But you pick any bet, you bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app for the parlays, the player props, the live lines. Get ready to go for Sunday Night Football tonight. You've got it all. The NFL season is here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Go to FanDuel.com/bigplay to sign up for this promotion. Again, new customers, you bet $5. You win, you'll unlock $300, but you have to go to FanDuel.com/bigplay to get the promotion. That is FanDuel.com/bigplay. Download it today. Must be 21 over, present in select states. 18 or over, present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus to issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccp.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Ryan, like the offensive issues that are just plaguing the Browns. Like I had a tweet ready to go about the wasting of the defense, right? Because in that first half, the Browns defense was limiting Pittsburgh, and you were only in the game because of the defense. And I look at the offense and I want to just point and say, like, it's just this simple fix. Like, Dylan Gabriel's not very good. There are systemic problems at multiple things right now. Your receivers cannot do anything. Your receivers are dropping passes. You are not getting open. Okay. Tight ends are fine. I think of all the offense, maybe the only thing you can look at is the tight ends. And lo and behold, what happened? David Njoku got hurt today. As we're getting closer to the trade deadline, he'll be out of here. You couldn't run the ball today with Quinshon Judkins. I didn't remember seeing him on the field. I saw more Jerome Ford. Maybe he got, I don't know. Did we miss this? Did he get hurt? I saw more Ford and Sampson today than I did Quinshon Judkins.
Quinshon Judkins just 12 carries. Jerome Ford had 2 carries. Dylan Sampson had 3 carries. And your best rusher was Jerome Ford, just the 2 carries, 17 yards. But, Matt, you're exactly right. And all eyes are going to point on Kevin Stefanski, as they should. But there's so many areas to discuss. Dylan Gabriel, although, yes, he's the losing quarterback, no turnovers, could have had 3 picks, which is crazy to think about. Honest to God, Matt, I don't think was the main issue. You mentioned it is systemic. You go down the list. The receivers right now, Jerry Jeudy, not a wide receiver one. I think that's very clear. The talent is there, Matt. I don't know what's going on in his head, but the drops, the beginning of the game, the unnecessary roughness, whatever
Joey
it was called, unreal. If he's not
dogged him into that, it's like you got to be smarter than that, man.
If he's not dropping the ball, he's still continuing to harm the team in other ways. Harold Fannin, fine. He had a huge drop again. Dylan Gabriel's best throw of that game came late in that game. Fannin dropped the ball. That should have been a big completion. David Njoku would drop, but David Njoku needs a nice bath. More than that, he had a brutal game today, getting hit by everybody, it seemed like. And then the offensive line, if we want to start there, Matt, your 6th combination of tackles, and we're only 6 weeks in. Jack Conklin, again, goes out with the concussion. Now we're going to be seeing more of KT Leviston. Cam Robinson had a big illegal formation, not behind the center's belt buckle. Yeah, it's the little things that Kevin Stefanski has to fix, and it's bleeding into every aspect of the game. Dylan Gabriel is going to get criticized, as he should. Just 220 yards, no touchdowns. But at the end of the day, Matt, I thought he was fine. On all the problems that we could go a laundry list for the Cleveland Browns, I thought he wasn't that bad. Is he ever going to be a guy that can alleviate the deficiencies in the roster? I'm not sure about that. Probably not. But there's so much more going on that's bad about this Browns offense. It's, again, the toughest watch in the NFL.
Well, and that's the tough thing about this Stefanski-led offense here is you're going to keep looking at the quarterback, because the feather in the Kevin Stefanski cap, right, was, man, he made the playoffs with 4, I know it was really 5, but like 4 starting quarterbacks, and you put Joe Flacco off the couch, and you did all these things. Okay, the development, though, is what we are going to look at and say, you got Dylan Gabriel. I understand you didn't have the first-round picks. You went with the Watson stuff. That didn't work. Okay, here, fine. You picked Dylan Gabriel. Are you seeing the development out of Dylan Gabriel? Now, it's 2 games, and I'm not sitting here ready to make any sort of grandiose declaration on what I think Dylan Gabriel is going to be or what he's not going to be. It's reckless to do after 2 games. But the thing is, I need to start seeing the progression. I need to start seeing, is he getting better at some of these things? Is things working out? Am I seeing throws that I can circle and say, that is some winning football? Ryan, you're right. I had that written out. I sent out, and which is so funny because I don't know if people on Twitter for the cesspool.
Is your good, bad, ugly out
know
yet?
That there's, what's that?
Is your good, bad, and ugly, is it out yet?
Good, bad, and ugly is out. We can check it out. Yeah, go check it out. MF on TNA3. But here's the thing. I sent this in the first half. Dylan Gabriel can make some really nice throws. We just need more of it. 10 minutes ago, people are like, dude, he's terrible. What are you watching? I'm like, do you realize I sent that in the first half? Like, do you realize I sent that in the first half of the game when things were looking good? But, Drew on Twitter here, Dylan literally threw 5 interceptions if they would have been caught today. Thanks for Juan Thornhill for that. Greg, 50 pass attempts, barely 200 yards, and 3 and 7 yard dump offs. I mean, here's the thing. There were a lot of dump offs, but I did see him making progressions. I did see him reading the defense, going through his progressions, and just the check down offense that makes us all sick to our stomachs. That's unfortunately what you had to run here. But yeah, if you want to sit there and try to point to Dylan Gabriel and say, well, it was a second start, a Steelers defense that came into this game bottom 10 in most categories, certainly got fat again. JJ Watt getting fat. Oh, gee, it was TJ Watt. JJ Watt was on the call. TJ Watt just getting fat on the Browns again. But I just, did you see something here that was better than game one? I want to, and I just got to understand too, this team probably isn't going to win a lot of football games. Because even as the development of Dylan Gabriel goes, Ryan, I'm still not seeing enough to be. There's a difference between he's getting better and making some plays versus actually like winning football, and the Browns are light years away from winning football right now.
Dylan Gabriel threw the ball, Matt. I thought this was a typo. Do you know how many times he threw the ball?
52 times.
52 times a rookie 52. Quarterback in Acrisure Stadium against the Pittsburgh Steelers. 52. He threw the ball 52 times. And I'm aware the game script is the reason that is. You were down the whole entire time. You got to throw the ball out, especially late in that game. But, I mean, that's just an indictment on Kevin Stefanski. Everything against Dylan Gabriel, everything was working against Dylan Gabriel that could have possibly worked against him. The offensive line is in complete disarray. Yep. The run game, you had no essence of it. Your receivers are dropping passes, so it's just a little difficult for me to put everything on Dylan Gabriel. I understand he's the quarterback, but Matt, you made a great point to go back to Kevin Stefanski, and you're talking in the short term right now that are you seeing the progression from Dylan Gabriel? Well, if you're Jimmy Haslam, are you going to allow Kevin Stefanski to be the one that fosters potentially your franchise quarterback next year? Is this an environment, the Cleveland Browns, that you feel confident drafting a rookie, even if he could be the most talented rookie, whether it's Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, etc.? Are you confident that Kevin Stefanski in this regime is going to be able to have a young quarterback grow under this system? Because they've never been able to do that, Matt, since they've returned since 1999. And it's just so hard for me to put everything on Dylan Gabriel. I know the instant reaction is going to be about Dylan Gabriel, but everything that we've detailed, he wasn't that bad. The turnovers, yes, he should have probably had 3 picks. The one he threw underneath to the wheel route on Quinshon Judkins, I truthfully told him, I think he was too short to see Nick Herbig right there. That's what I think it was. You mentioned TJ Watt. Nick Herbig had an absolute day, and that's what makes it so frustrating. We can get on our high horse about the Browns draft class. Steelers got some young studs too, and they're not a bad football team right now. 4-1, the AFC North is wide open. At least it was. Now the Steelers are running away from it.
It's theirs. No, it's theirs.
It's sickening. Yeah. It's disappointment. It's so disappointing, and I feel bad for people that have to watch this football team, us included.
Well, and the thing is, and I do want to get to the defense. We'll certainly get to special teams here coming up in a second. But to your question about do you want to let this regime first, number one, pick the quarterback, right? And then develop and nurture said quarterback. I mean, you're getting an example of Dylan Gabriel. And this is almost like a practice dry run of, are you going to see him get better, right? And that's something that, as much as the Haslams have come out and given support for Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, and they're not going anywhere, they're going to be here, right? This is a practice run. And I'm not saying that at the end of the year, we're going to be looking at Dylan Gabriel and saying, man, this guy's an AFC North winning quarterback, and he's going to take us to the playoffs. He's going to be Jaden Daniels. He's going to have some amazing rookie season. I'm not saying that. But at the end of it, can you see, did he get better? Did he get better throughout the year? And if your answer is no, then it's one of two things. He was not developed right, or maybe he just really is bad. Either one of those is a bad reflection on either who drafted him or who's coaching him. but it's going to give you an answer on how you want to handle the future when you go get that first round quarterback and bring him in here. And if you want Stefanski and Barry being a part of that. We got plenty coming up. Big Play, instant reaction here. Matt Fontaine and Ryan Tyler with you. You can follow us at Big Play. It is presented by our great friends at FanDuel. Get signed up today, FanDuel.com/Big Play. Let's go over the defense. I mean, where was Myles Garrett today? You know, and it's hard because in that first half, you're right. I was ready to throw some flowers at Tyson Campbell and say, man, what a pickup that was. And he just gets torched on the touchdown. Outside of Carson Schlesinger, you know, Denzel Ward had that big hit. They still picked up a first down. And I think I saw that when he was on DK Metcalf, Metcalf didn't have a catch. But when Metcalf was on Tyson Campbell, he had like all of it, 7 for however many yards and a touchdown. But, I mean, defensively, there was other guys getting pressure. And there was times Myles wasn't even on the field. I know they rotate, but Ryan, I mean, I wanted to give credit to this defense. At one point, here, I want to pull up the final stats here. The Steelers had 10 more minutes of possession at one point in the game. It ended up only being 3 because the Browns had some longer drives there late when the game was out of reach. But I really just looked at it and I said the defense was getting gashed. No turnovers forced. You actually had the Steelers commit 10 penalties.
Mm-hmm.
10. Your defense was committing penalties as well. But I just... Man, I look at this and I'm like, the defense, when you really needed them to show up, they weren't there, but I just felt like they were gashed and tired and it could only do so much and the dam broke late.
The one thing that you can look at the box score and without even seeing the final score, you know the Cleveland Browns lost this game. 0 sacks. 0 sacks against Aaron Rodgers, and you were going against a Pittsburgh offensive line that is young and inexperienced. Broderick Jones has been awful up to this point in the season. He had a good game. He honestly did. So credit to him. Again, Mason McCormick, Zach Frazier's good, but on the other side, Troy Fatanu, young guys, like the Cleveland Browns defense, again, it's so tough to blame them, but again, you're right, didn't do much. 0 sacks against Aaron Rodgers is absolutely crazy compared to 6 sacks for the Steelers defense against Dylan Gabriel. And Tyson Campbell really should have had 2 touchdowns on him. The one Aaron Rodgers underthrew to DK Metcalf, and then he gave him a stutter step late in the game. That scored a touchdown. I mean, that's whatever. You watched Greg Newsome get torched, a lateral trade. It probably would have happened here. It's the offense. 23 points you give up. Yes, you want to give up less than that, of course, in a perfect world, but you're not winning a single game in the NFL scoring 9 points. I watched the New York Jets play football at 9:30 a.m. and take joy away from me. I woke up early, Matt, to watch that game in London, and they had nothing going on offense, but they managed to score more than the Browns, 11 points with Justin Fields holding onto the ball for 5 seconds every snap. It's becoming a problem, and we can point to every finger, every aspect of this Browns offense for the reason, but it comes down to Kevin Stefanski. You're the one running the show. The penalties are still a problem. It's been a problem ever since you got hired here. And again, Matt, we've been pretty lenient, us compared to other people, on their feelings about Kevin Stefanski. We know the narratives about Browns head coaches losing to the Steelers. What happens after that week? I just wonder, Matt, could you see a scenario at all that we come on tomorrow, the big factor, we're doing your show Thursday, Browns fire Kevin Stefanski? Has it gotten that bad?
It's bad. Oh, no. And to your point, listen, we've all been through this a lot with the Browns, and this is an unfortunate thing that we know this sick feeling. Don't you feel sick? Don't you just feel like disgusted to be a Browns fan? Like, we've been here before, and I know how this playbook goes. I know what precedes a coach getting fired, and it looks a lot like this. I get it. I've seen it. I know it. I, for some reason, and I'm an idiot for it, still hope that that's not the path that we're going down here, because I get that it's bad. And trust me, dude, I'm sure the same with you. I got my phone blowing up with people. I'm done with Kevin Stefanski. Get him out here. And I'll tell you this too. They're from people that I know were Stefanski defenders. I've got people out there. I know you out there that are listening and watching this right now as Browns fans. A lot of you were, maybe still are, Kevin Stefanski defenders, but you can't anymore. So I said, the word is like exhausted. I'm exhausted to try to fight and try to find the reasons to keep this working. And eventually you got to do what? Throw your hands up and go, it's not. But to your question, Kevin Stefanski is going to remain the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. He's going to. because, everybody was joking too in my Twitter feed, like, oh, well, why is he keeping his job? Because he'd find another one in 5 minutes. People love saying that, right? Anybody else would hire him. You want to fire him, fine. Who you're bringing in?
Yep.
It's the question I always ask when people want a coach fired. That's fine. And I get that you get to a point where, like James Franklin, you get to a point where it's just so completely and utterly obvious that you need a change. At this point, who are you bringing in to replace him? And we'll just elevate Jim Schwartz. Does that really fix all your problems? The ultimate question on Kevin Stefanski's got to be this. Answer it yourself, Ryan. I want you to answer because I'm going to ask you this question right now. Is Kevin Stefanski part of the problem or the solution?
That's a great question. Right now, I got to say part of the problem because there's no solutions on this Browns team. Everything about the offense, and that's Kevin Stefanski's job is the offense. I understand he's head coach. He deals with defense, sure, but we all know Kevin Stefanski is the leader of this offense, and it's been absolutely putrid. It's been the worst in the NFL. 9 points, Matt. The Steelers' defense, they've gotten better the last couple of weeks in returning to the normal of what you'd expect from a Pittsburgh Steelers defense, but we've seen Carson Wentz expose parts of it. We've seen Justin Fields put up 30-plus points week 1 against this Pittsburgh Steelers team. 9 points is unacceptable. No touchdowns, Matt. It's unacceptable in this era as well. I wonder Kevin Stefanski, and that's the hot topic, of course. It's, well, if he gets fired, he's going to go coach for another team. Day one, someone's going to hire him. But it's gotten to the point, Matt, and I think we're the same, and a lot of Browns fans are, okay, do it. Yeah. Go ahead. If he succeeds, he succeeds. It doesn't matter because it doesn't change anything about our current situation.
Here's the thing that what is the best ammo that you have to defend Kevin Stefanski? Oh, he made the playoffs with PJ Walker and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Why isn't he doing that with Dylan Gabriel then? Is Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who, by the way, did beat the Pittsburgh Steelers as a rookie.
Yeah.
PJ Walker, is it just that the rest of the offense is that bad? Is it that they miss Bill Callahan that freaking much on the offensive line? Is it that they didn't have Nick Chubb? I'm trying to understand and wrap my head around it, because the thing that you would sit there and say that is the greatest ally, so to speak, of Kevin Stefanski is the opportunity that is standing right in front of him. He made chicken salad out of chicken blank with some really, really bad quarterbacks that one year. Why can't he do that again? Is Dylan Gabriel truthfully that lost? And if that is the case, then, that's going to be some honest reflection on him. Because if the answer comes back, I can't do this with Dylan Gabriel. Here's my whole point. I believe that Kevin Stefanski could still do it. I mean, make the playoffs. I've seen him do it. I've seen him coach this, 2-time coach of the year, all that kind of stuff. So then inevitably I've got to come back and say, well, then Dylan Gabriel can't, right? And the sooner we start talking that way, then you need to get Shedeur Sanders in the game. So then I can understand if he can do it. I've got no loyalty to I want them all to be good. I want Dylan Gabriel to be good because I need a quarterback. I want Shedeur Sanders to be good because I need a quarterback. But if you're not, we're moving on to the next guy. And it's so interesting that I'm willing to do that with the quarterback, but Ryan, I just can't wrap my head around doing that with that head coach. Right? Sitting there and going, well, if this isn't the guy, then it's time to move on. I don't know why I can't do it with Kevin. I just can't.
I can't answer the question of if somebody else put on that headset and was the head coach of this team right now, could they actually put something actually watchable on the field? I don't know the answer to that. I want to lean no because of how bad the offensive line is, because you have receivers dropping passes right in their hands. It's what do you want Kevin to do? He can't put on cleats and go out there, but here's my question. Does any of that matter? Does any of that matter to warrant Kevin keeping his job?
I mean, the problem is both things can be true. I guess my thing is you could sit there and say you need to make a change and it could all of a sudden get better. It's like a causation thing, right? If you get rid of Kevin Stefanski and you bring in a new coach and you then draft a rookie quarterback in the first round and you go to the playoffs next year, well, it's maybe Kevin could have done that too, right? But as long as you're getting to that end goal, that's all that truthfully matters. So it's you can change this 1,000 different ways. You can do 1,000 different things to just still try to get to your end goal of being a good football team, making the playoffs year after year. And Ryan, what is it always and forever going to come back to? Quarterback. You don't have one. So, like, that's exactly what you're talking about here. Is I have no idea if it is truthfully Kevin Stefanski's fault or that he just can't work the magic anymore. You know what I mean? But you know what I do know? We don't have a franchise quarterback right now. It might be Dillon Gabriel. It might be Shedeur Sanders. But the only thing I can unequivocally tell you right now is the Browns do not have a franchise quarterback. Nothing will be fixed. Nothing will be solved. You're going to still have guys getting fired and you trading away players, doing all that stuff until you find a franchise quarterback. Nothing gets fixed. That's it.
It's so sad because I'm not going to question the talent on this team for the most part. I'm not going to question the effort, which has been a thing for a lot of Browns teams in the past that we look on every single week and question the effort.
Yeah, I agree there.
But you look at teams like the Colts, and I'm just using an example because they got another victory today. Daniel Jones comes in, and now they're going to make the playoffs at this point.
Oh, yeah.
They're a real, honest to God, contender to make it out of the AFC.
Yeah.
So who does it fall back on? And I understand the Browns, we can say they don't have a quarterback, but who does it fall on that the Browns are continually not prepared to do? I know you can't control injuries, but injuries happen to every NFL team. You see backups come in and they still find ways to succeed. They stick to their system and their identities, but the Browns don't have one right now. You thought for a while it was maybe going to go back to Quinshon Judkins. We were going to be this ground pound team, but I don't know if that's the case anymore. You can't certainly rely on that. It's just such a difficult watch, and you can tell for the fans, Kevin Stefanski is not in good graces right now. I agree with you. I don't think he's going to get fired. I think if you stuck with him, and we talked about the front office making moves that kind of seems like they signaled they believe their jobs are safe. But, I mean, people in the comments are right. Corey, that offense is a hot bag of ass. I completely agree. Roger, the 4-yard throws are making me hurl. I agree. I watched the Colts, again, as an example, doing a reverse whatever it was to flea flicker to Tyler Warren. They're finding ways with playmakers to get the ball in space, and it's working for them, and they're consistently scoring over 30 points. I know there's no easy answer, but something's got to change, and for a guy that loved Kevin Stefanski, just at some point push has to come to shove, Matt.
Well, and the thing is, when you talk about just figuring out what works, we're all sitting there going, trick it up, man. You know, go ahead, run the college offense if that's what Dillon Gabriel is comfortable with. But again, you're not set up for that because you basically are in 12 personnel the whole game because two of your best players are David Njoku and Harold Fannin. You have to put those guys on the field. There's only 3 guys that are making plays on this offense in the pass game. It's Jerry Jeudy and the 2 tight ends. That's a hard way to live in today's NFL. I mean, outside of the Steelers, who DK Metcalf, coming into this game, they only had one receiver because Calvin Austin was hurt. DK Metcalf was the only receiver that had more than one catch coming into this game. Even today, here's Pittsburgh, right? DK Metcalf, 4 for 95. Then Washington and Jonnu Smith, 3 receptions each. Gainwell, the running back, had 6. Connor Hayward caught the touchdown as a fullback. The only other receiver other than DK Metcalf, Rome Wilson had 1 grab for 12 yards. That's it. They find a way to be 4-1. They find a way with our defense being better than that. Now, you're right. Is Jerry Jeudy DK Metcalf? Absolutely not. Is any of our quarterbacks Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely not. They find a way, though. They find a way.
They find a way, and this isn't something like Aaron Rodgers comes in and he joins the Steelers basically at the last midnight hour of the season beginning to start, but you still find ways, just the creativity, the play action bootlegs. Aaron Rodgers absolutely cooked the Cleveland Browns defense on that. Darnell Washington, you mentioned, who I know the Pittsburgh Steelers guys at Snap Count, they absolutely love. And tight ends going into that game, man, I don't know if you saw the stat, 29th in terms of yardage for their tight end group, which is uncharacteristic of an Arthur Smith offense, and they came out and made all the difference. You mentioned Darnell Washington and Jonnu Smith, and then Jaylen Warren was just a beast. Only 52 yards on the ground rushing, but it seemed like he was moving players every single time he touched the ball. I don't have an answer, but Matt, I want to ask you this. What do you say to the people that, because there's going to be plenty, Browns fans and national media, because they've already been doing it, that are going to clamor for the Browns to start Shedeur Sanders next week against the Miami Dolphins?
You need to give Dillon Gabriel a couple of more starts. Because number one, why not? Why not? I mean, seriously. At this point, you're going to lose the locker room or you're tanking for a draft pick. I don't want to be tanking for a draft pick, but it's okay, you're in this situation. What is the harm of keeping Dillon Gabriel in there for a little bit longer? And for all the people that are clamoring to see Shedeur Sanders, would you not be setting him up for failure? Like, I'm not sitting here telling you that I know for sure that Dylan Gabriel is better than Shedeur Sanders. I have no idea, right? I don't watch those guys practice every day. I'm not the one that evaluated them and drafted them. Okay. But let's just go out on a limb and say that Dylan Gabriel is a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. If you put Shedeur in this offense with this, offensive line and these receivers, like, what's that? Like, he's not going to do any better, right? You're going for the spark. That's what Dylan Gabriel was supposed to be. When you bench Joe Flacco, you go, well, we got to go with the spark here with Dylan Gabriel. Can you really do that twice? No. Eventually, it's going to be lost. And, I mean, the question is going to come back to how much longer can you ride this out with not sacrificing your job and even, like, winnable games, right? Everybody's sitting there going, like, oh, Miami, winnable game. Well, are you sure? They put up points. They have the Chargers on the ropes so late there. I mean, I guess just what's the point of starting Shedeur at this point? You're going to. There's no question in my mind Shedeur Sanders is going to play football for the Cleveland Browns at some point this year. Are you done? Let me ask you this, Ryan. Are you for sure that Dylan Gabriel cannot be the future franchise playoff winning quarterback for the Cleveland Browns?
No, I'm not sure, but maybe this
Pretty
isn't
close.
and maybe this
Pretty
isn't
close.
fair to Dylan Gabriel, because I do want to see him play at home. That'll be one thing. Not that that's the all and be all. But again, like those picks that he probably should have had a couple, like the one to Nick Herbig was unacceptable. Again, I think he was straight up too short, so that's a problem. But he's not let me put it this way, he's not the main reason the Cleveland Browns are losing games right now, I don't think. Now, you need a quarterback to be a catalyst, and I understand that. And can he ever be that? I'm not sure. Probably not. His prototype doesn't succeed in the NFL. That's not a surprise. That's why he went in the third round. And if it wasn't for the Browns, he probably would have went even later, maybe even undrafted. Who knows? But let me ask you this. Let's say this game, Matt Stafford played for the Cleveland Browns. And the reason I use Matthew Stafford is because he's a damn good quarterback. He's a damn good passer, but he doesn't have the rushing upside that you could say for Lamar Jackson, who can completely flip a game just because of how mobile and a freak athlete he is. If Matt Stafford was the Browns quarterback for this game, do they win it? Yes. I think you think so.
Yes.
You do.
Yeah, I absolutely do.
I still don't think they win this game. With the offensive line, with the receivers dropping the ball, with bonehead penalties, I'm really not sure Matthew Stafford wins them this game.
I mean, I think I look at it this way. Number one, the Steelers left the door open over and over and over again. Like, they did everything that they could to try to choke this game away, and the Browns were just like, no, we don't want it. You can have it back. Like, stupid drive extending penalties on the Steelers side of things, by the way. Boneheaded plays on the Steelers part of it. Sloppiness from the Steelers. But the thing that I would look at Stafford and say this, right? Like, he's on time. He knows where to go with the football. And that is just so much of what we hoped Joe Flacco would be. And I think that's what any coach, but specifically you hear Kevin Stefanski talk about all the time. That's all he wants ever out of a quarterback, is the ball to be out on time and go where it's supposed to go. I know I'm breaking that down as the most fundamental thing of being a quarterback in the NFL, but it's that simple. And if you have a quarterback that can do that, you then start turning average, maybe even below average receivers into guys that you can win games with if the ball is there on time, and that's it, right? So, the run game again was bad. The offensive line, I guess, your point is well taken, where you would be sitting there saying, with behind this offensive line, there's no way any quarterback can win, right? Lamar would be running for his life. Mahomes would be running for his life behind this offensive line. And I guess that's probably the double-edged sword the Browns are facing right now, right? You've got an offensive line that can't block anybody. So you need that ball to be out even quicker and on time, and you got a rookie that's still even trying to figure out what on time is. He doesn't even know. He has no idea the NFL speed and where the ball is supposed to be going. And he's behind an offensive line that is then speeding up his clock. That's how you ruin a quarterback. That's the whole thing, too, about where the Browns are at trying to develop Dylan Gabriel. You're developing him with bad habits. You are developing him in the worst possible situation that you could be in right now. And that goes back to even Shedeur. If you think Shedeur is the answer, too, you're not nurturing these guys right now. You're bringing them in to a complete and utter disaster and trying to, learn while you're here, too. Put out this fire and try to learn Well, that's how you got to learn in the NFL, and the NFL is all about pressure. No. That's not how this goes. That's not how this goes. It's not going to work. And you bring these guys in trying to move mountains by themselves, shouldering the load over and over. These guys should be figuring out how to play in the NFL, not trying to carry a team. And sorry, it's quarterback position. I guess things are tough, and the Browns are not afforded this situation to sit, a rookie and let him learn. But I mean, yeah, if you look at these receivers, you look at the run game, you look at the offensive line, I get where you're coming from, Ryan. You could say you could put anybody back there right now and they wouldn't be successful. Me, I guess I'm just trying to be the optimist and hope that it could just be a quarterback problem.
The Browns are always the gift that keeps on giving. We headed into the season with an expectation that through 6 weeks, 1-5 was a pretty standard projection for this team's record. But it feels as though it's somehow even worse than 1-5, which, yes, 0-6 is the only possible way it could be worse than 1-5. But I don't know if we expected Dillon Gabriel to be the starter by now. I don't know if we expected the offense to be this anemic as it was last year, outside of Jameis Winston, some games there. I don't know if we expected the hot seat on Kevin Stefanski to be this steaming hot, but here we are. And it's 6 weeks into the season. We're not even halfway, not even really close, Matt. And it seems as though our best opportunity for maybe only the second win, and maybe our only and last win of the season, comes against, after the bye week, the New York Jets 0-6. Do you think by then that's when we'll see Shedeur coming off a bye against a bad team in the New York Jets?
Yeah, I'll buy that. And by the way, too, another thing you pile on, it makes that Cincinnati loss sting that much more. It makes that Vikings loss in London that much more of a sting because you couldn't close that game out. You couldn't get a win. You're right. So the Dolphins are up next, which everybody before was like, oh, it's a win. Okay, not anymore. You're not beating the Patriots. Drake May is absolutely fun. God, dude, I watched Drake May play, and I'm just like, why can't I have that? Why can't I have that? That guy looks like an absolute stud playing quarterback. But anyway, then you're right. Then the bye, then you're the Jets, the Ravens. I'm assuming Lamar will be back by then. Then you talk about like the Raiders, the Titans as winnable games, maybe the Bears. But the problem is that if you're going to keep playing the way that you're playing, Ryan, you're not beating anybody. It doesn't matter how bad the Jets are. It doesn't matter how bad the Titans are. If you continue to play the way that the Browns are with this anemic ass offense, you're not beating anyone. And especially with the defense that, everybody talked about, like, having the chance to rival that one a couple of years ago, that defense got gashed today. It's not their fault. They were out there forever, and they tried to get off the field as much as they could, but it's the give and take thing. It's like the issue with the Browns at this point is I think they are going to severely, and this is going to be the test for Kevin Stefanski and even relates to Shedeur Sanders. What is that motivation? I think they are severely lacking that motivation right now. There's nothing to grab onto. There's nothing for this team right now to grab onto and have hope, because I don't have much as a fan right now, right? What are you doing? What's your rah-rah speech to them tomorrow? They're on a long bus ride back from Pittsburgh. They bus, they don't fly. They're on a bus ride on back, right? And they're all sitting there and they're stewing. They're watching that tape and all that. What are you showing up Monday for to go lace your cleats up and go out there and get ready to go to practice? I know they practice later in the week, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it right now? What? Just not be an embarrassment? Try to go out there and rah-rah, win another game? It's getting thin, man. It's wearing thin. And then eventually what happens is the majority of that locker room starts to tune out Kevin Stefanski, and that's how you lose your job. Well, that's how that's how, unfortunately, that's the path we're on. I'm going to leave it open that we can get off this thing and hopefully get a win, but that's very much, unfortunately, the path that we're on right now.
Well, 23-9, Cleveland falls to 1-5. Up next, Miami. You mentioned clash of the 1-5 teams. Who gets fired first, Stefanski or Mike McDaniel?
I still think it's Mike McDaniel, but I mean, obviously they had the Chargers beat today, and then just Justin Herbert and Ladd McConkey actually woke up, so they get back down there. But Darren Waller looks like beast again, so we'll see. But it's crazy. So again, appreciate everybody joining us. This is kind of our first. And Ryan, tell everybody we're going to be doing this after most of the games, the rest of the way out. Sometimes it'll be me, but like Josh and Reflog, we're going to have a bunch of different people kind of filling in as the season kind of goes on through. It's all presented by great friends at FanDuel. Get signed up today, folks. If you are a new customer to FanDuel right now, go to FanDuel.com/bigplay. That is FanDuel.com/bigplay. You sign up, new customers. You pick a bet, you bet $5. That bet wins. You get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app for the parlays. I got a nice little Sunday night one, Ryan. Are you going to tail me this time?
Yes.
I'm going to text you.
I think I have
better
to.
be on board.
I think I have
better
to.
be on board. All right, good. So it's on FanDuel. Check it out. FanDuel.com/big play. You win that bet, $300 in bonus bets. Use across the app for the parlays, player props, live lines. Got Sunday Night Football coming up. The only question is, are you ready? FanDuel.com/big play. You must be 21 over and present in select states, or 18 and over, present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccp.org /chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. It's going to do us here for the instant reaction presented by FanDuel. Appreciate them very much. Don't forget, Monday, kick things off with the big factor here on Big Play. You know, the Big Play Cleveland show. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Search Big Play. We'll have all of our shows this week. And, of course, Ryan and I, you can catch us on Thursdays with the Matt Fontana show. Follow Ryan on Twitter at RyanTyler33. I'm at Matt Fontana83. We trudge on. Here we are, Cleveland Browns. Appreciate everybody joining us here.